So here we are, and today I will start first with guiding a meditation, short meditation, and then speak a little bit, and then it's open for question and answer. So make yourself comfortable, and if it's safe to close your eyes, I invite you to close your eyes. Just see what it's like to just close your eyes. What happens in your experience? Perhaps you notice immediately a deep silence or some thoughts or some sensations in your body. So see what it's like to allow whatever is here to be here. So there's absolutely nothing you need to change. And then bringing your attention to the breath breathing you. Keep staying with the air traveling in on the in-breath and out on the out-breath. So it's not like with effort following the breath, but it's more this sense of your body, your being is open to receiving the breath. So see what it's like to receive the breath traveling in and traveling out. So it's kind of like a non-doing. We are the space in which the breath travels in and out. And stay with that simple instruction of receiving, breathing, letting go of breathing. Receiving the air traveling in, filling up your belly and chest, and letting go of breathing. It's all happening naturally on its own.
Oh,
And naturally, the body moves or is moved by the breath traveling in and letting go. And notice by receiving the breath traveling in and out, and actually the whole body is being moved. Tends to be obvious how the torso is being moved by the breath breathing you. But also notice how the arms and hands are being moved. Pelvis and the legs are being moved. The neck and the head too. Very simple. Breath breathing you, your body. Sweet body is moved. Blood flows. Perhaps some thoughts move, feelings, sensations. And notice how simultaneously there's also something very, very still without you doing anything. Something is resting. It's all natural. Naturally, the breath is breathing you. Naturally, the silence of your being is here. And perhaps some thoughts, emotions, feelings are floating in and out. And see what it's like to be touched by all. Welcome in all. Not like, oh, I really want to be silent, or oh, I really want to be relaxing into breathing, or I really want to go into thoughts. No, just receiving all that comes and goes and all that is. Notice how naturally you start sinking in more deeply into the silence of your being, into the deeper I, the I am. You might even quietly, silently say to yourself, I am I. I I I am I. Relaxing, receiving I am. And if you notice you get distracted by thoughts or start believing thoughts, no big deal. Just come back to the I am, that what you are. There's nothing you need to do to be yourself. body breathing. I am I. The silence of your being. It's all here. While you're still resting within, even though there can be thoughts or anything happening also, slowly open your eyes. Just notice what it's like to have the breath still breathing you. The silence of being is here as always. Eyes open. No difference, eyes open or eyes closed. You might even want to look around the room where you are. Just noticing breath is still breathing. The I am is still I aming. And then wiggle your toes and move your body, wiggle your hands. And if you need to stretch, allow yourself to stretch a little bit. And so here we are. Today, let me just look up the title of today. It's an exploration of total inclusion. How available are you to stay awake as a human divine in today's world? It's up to us to live the awakened life in every moment and every situation. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but I just wanted to read the beginning. And as some of you know, I had a big surgery a little bit over a year ago, last year, November, where my 2 kidneys were taken out. They were really big. They were both like, for Europeans, they were 2 kilo each, so big. For Americans, they were 5 pounds each, so they were really big, and I looked already pregnant. So basically, I feel I gave birth to twins. And I had the luck of a new live kidney to be put in. That's very tiny. Kidney is as big as a fist of our own hand, and latched on immediately. And so that whole process before, during, and after brought an incredible opportunity for me to take this challenge as a huge invitation, and a huge invitation to really deepen more into being. And no matter how awake or not we are, any challenge is an invitation to deepen into being. It helps to dissolve a certain quality of belief we have in thoughts that are just thoughts, and just helps to dissolve so many things. But it's not that you're actively busy dissolving. It's more the situation helps us to come deeper, at least in my situation, in my experience. It helped me to deeper and deeper relax into being, because there was absolutely not much I could do besides relaxing into being. And it's an incredible surrender to be wheeled into an operation room. And I still remember two of my very close friends were with me when they prepared me. And the anesthesia lady went over the whole procedure. And I just was so grateful for all the practice in my life to know that all there is presence, or the I am, and simultaneously the love that was in the room, which is really a side effect of the I am. And to know that all to do here is to rest as the I am. And that's, we probably all know that in our hearts, but doesn't mean we all live that. So to come in a situation like that and then being wheeled into the operation room, and on the way to the operation room, you go through doors, a door goes open, and then you come in a space that's colder. And then the next door goes open, and then you come in another space that's even colder. And then the next door is kind of like a movie, till in the operation room itself, it's just basically cold. And the thought comes like, oh, wow, how's my body going to do, in this ice cold place? But, just letting go of that thought. And just so grateful for the practice of resting as the I am. And doesn't mean there was no discomfort, doesn't mean there was coolness. And when they put an epidural in my spine, and didn't quite work. And so I said to the anesthesia lady, I forgot her name, I think I need to lay down and then put the thing in, and then my body will be able to receive it. So we did that, and just I just felt so magical, just this whole preparation, and then how they laid me on the table. And I had mentioned to her, please tell me exactly when you're gonna put the fluid in to bring me under, because I just want to experience every second of it whenever I can. And I also had explained that I have a very sensitive body, and so I know it will shake and will do all kind of stuff. Don't sedate it, just let my body do what it does. And that's what happened. And she said, this is what you mean? I said, yes, just let it happen, it will change. And then she told me to she's going to put the fluid in right now. And so then off I went, and I could feel, just going into this, timelessness, really, even though we are already in timelessness anyways. But it was just so beautiful. And just because when we really relax into timelessness, we're not there anymore. Truly nothing is there. No thing is there. And then waking up. So in a funny way, I was not there during the surgery, and simultaneously I was there. Presence was there. It was just presencing, or I don't even know how to put it in words. So then I awoke, and I remember the first thing, while I was still laying with my eyes closed, the first thing I felt was this, wow, my belly is really light. I hadn't really had any thoughts about how it would be after the surgery. Every step along the way takes all of the attention. And just to feel that was just so delicious, to lay there in this kind of, timeless, groggy, spacious space, and feeling how my belly was completely empty. At least that's how it felt, and light. And then all my friends came in and hang around me, and yeah, it was beautiful. And then I feel after that, the challenge really started. That I was gifted with, even though, I was born with the illness of the kidneys, so I had my own challenges already over time. But I felt life, I don't know how you say it in English, but up the granny a little bit. So I was wheeled into my hospital room, and I thought, oh, okay, we're entering here, another world. It's the world of the hospital, and I felt I was kind of entering into a hell realm, which is a word that I actually never used before as far as I remember. It was just so interesting to come in a space I felt I was in the machine room of a factory. But in the midst of all of that, the I am was and is here. So my friends made an altar, and we covered the television, and we covered the clock, because there's like a clock this big right in front of you. And it was just such an incredible gift to lay there, not being able to move, basically, then laying on my back and being overly medicated, of course. And still, the ocean of being is here. Then one of the things, doctors coming in and out and really not knowing how to connect with a human being, and nurses coming in and out, not really know how to connect with a human being, with here and there an exception. They're all in their protocols, their pills, their computers, and I was actually really sad for them, uh, how they are all in the straitjacket. And I really got it immediately, how this all for me was an invitation of utmost inclusion. It's like all there is the I am. All there is the presence of being. And yes, my body was uncomfortable. Yes, there was shock in how I was treated. Yes, all those things. And yes, the amount of pills I was taking was 2 meals a day of pills. It was incredible. But something was untouched. Something was completely, totally here, bright, clear, even though I was, sleepy. There was excruciating pain at some point, because a mistake was made with the pain medication, which they didn't really acknowledge, even though I and my advocate, we would tell them, but they said, no, you have already enough. But the epidural was leaking, through which they gave the pain medication, and anyways, it doesn't really matter the whole story, but basically I was in excruciating pain. And there's a place where we can really be with pain. It's first kind of being with pain. And then all there is pain. And in my case, it was deeply sharp. And I was completely, surrendered to the pain. What was a really beautiful experience, which I don't want to repeat, one time is enough, but what was beautiful, there was, when I spoke first, the being with pain, then the relaxing into pain, and then pain, being pain, not being with, being pain. Pain is all there is. There's not even that separation of being with. And then all there is pain, and surrender to that. And then just an absolute giving up, because I felt like just put me in a bag, a plastic bag on the side of the road. I'm done. The amount of pain is like so excruciating. I can't even find words for it. I felt I went through the roof. And this deeper sense of surrender that we cannot do, there's a place we can say, oh, I let go, I surrender. And then there's a place, you are surrendered, you're taken. And then there is a place, there's just, it's not even a question of choice anymore. It's just surrendering is all there is. Pain is all there is. Just the I am is all there is. I can't even point it out. And it's just nothing is there anymore besides pain. And then in a way, pain even dissolves also. I don't know if it makes sense the way how I share it. But it was such an excruciating, painful event, and simultaneously totally magical also, and so deeply humbling as a human, how there was absolutely nothing I could do. But again, in the midst of all of that, the I am is there. The timeless is there. I am the timeless. All there is that. There's no thought that's interesting. Nothing is believed anymore. Beliefs are out the window. Nothing is there. No thing, no thought, no feeling, no nothing. Just the I am I. And that was so beautiful. It was painfully beautiful. So, and then after that, they upped the pain medication, and the body was able to relax. Even though in that complete surrender that happened, that I have really nothing to do with, the body relaxed too, in the midst of that pain. And after that, I was, I think, about 6 days in the hospital and going through all those movements, and the pain got less, and still incredible discomfort. It's just amazing to see and experience what the body can actually handle. When I see how I'm doing now in this body, and a little bit more than a year ago, it's amazing to experience the natural wholeness that the body wants to come to. Everything, every cell, everything in our body naturally wants to come to coherence, to wholeness. And when it's whole, it wants to come to a deeper wholeness. That's the natural movement of nature. Same as the I am. When we wake up to our true nature, we have the taste of the I am, right? We know that's what we are. That's a quality of wholeness, you could say. And that wants to come to a deeper wholeness, so that it's so deeply realized that all we know there is the I am. And then you keep practicing, because that's life is really one big fat practice of the deepening. The deepening is forever. And the deepening also means the total inclusiveness of everything. Because as humans, these bodies go through all kinds of experiences, so-called good and bad, and pain and pleasure. And that doesn't take away from the I am, from that what we are, from that what I am. And the interesting thing is, the more we relax into being, the more it's natural to the total inclusion of life. When we're not so fully awake, or we're on our way and we have some discomforts, we have like, oh, I don't want that, But when you truly know you're the timeless being, all there is timelessness, the incomprehensible blah of being, when you deeply know that, then all is invited in that. Pain, pleasure, rage, sadness, happy, everything. It's just part of life. It's part of the coming and goings. It's how it is. And there comes a sweetness to that discomfort. Or then less and less it's actually experienced as a discomfort, but more as just something that is in the moment and received. And it's not made more like, oh, it's not like yesterday. I remember, oh yeah, yesterday I wanted to go to the Christmas intensive of Adyashanti. And I was all in the morning, I had been teaching in the training of somebody else. And after that, I was going to go. I was all dressed up and I was like, gee, I'm not going to go. My body's just too tired. So I went home and I bought myself really something nice to eat. And that made me even more tired. But I was just relaxing into the tiredness. Tiredness was just here. And I was caring for the tired body, for my tired body. That's what it needed. It needed the care. So it was just so wonderful to just sit and let tired be tired. Just, that was all. I didn't need to change it. I didn't need to think, oh, why am I tired? Oh, I can't go. And oh, this, oh, that. No, tired was just tired. That's all. Doesn't need any thoughts, doesn't need anything else. And I could feel when I was at a certain point, I was falling into meditation. I could feel how the I am was just taking care of tired, because that's what it does. The presence of our being takes care of our body, takes care of every plant, takes care of everything, is everything, and naturally wants to bring it into the natural state of being. So I could feel at some point while I was sitting, my body was naturally warming up, and I was not cold, but I could feel a certain heat was coming in, and I felt almost like the body was being reorganized by just letting tired being tired. So the I am could take care of it all. And that's the same with, so it's kind of like it's included. It's not like I don't want to be tired. Oh, why is this here? Why can't I go? It's just not even interesting to go there. It's not. This is what naturally wants to happen. The body wants to rest. And so it's a total inclusion. And in that inclusion, it's like just the intimacy with what is, the intimacy with the tiredness by letting it be what it is so I can taste it. And then naturally falling into the intimacy of the I am. I hope you get the sense when I share this, because it's something we can all practice. Instead of going into the thinking mind, relaxing into the I am. It's kind of what Nisargadatta spoke about. You know, his teacher said, that's what you are, and that's what you need to practice, and that's what he did. And then he came home by just constantly relaxing as the I am, staying there till he or it or that or whatever, everything dissolved into that, and falling into the deepest silence of being, which is the I am in my experience. So everything in our lives is an opportunity to relax, trust, relax, be the I am realized. can be in the midst of pleasure too. I live somewhere with a deck, and I can oversee the whole forest all the way to the ocean. When I sit outside, or even right now when I look outside, it's just pure pleasure. It's just pleasure and awe to receive that. Now I can hold on to the pleasure. That's not so much what it is. It's just the more I take in this beauty, which is part of the I am, you could say, is an expression of the I am, the more I deepen into the I am. So everything in our life that happens is an opportunity to stay awake and rest as the I am, just to rest home, till you just rest home, and everything comes into that. So even while you're listening right now, just relax. Keep on relaxing back into the I am. And it's not so much like getting the words by really tensing up. It's more like the more you relax into yourself, the words will come in. Or it's not even the words that come in, it's just the energy behind the words. So the I am here is touching the I am there. The presence of being here is touching the presence of being in you. And the more we relax into the presence of being, the more we can be truly in relationship with ourselves, with all that is. And then what's revealed is a deeper sense of I am. So the beauty is the more and more relaxing into being. Here, the more when I meet someone, a person, another person, or a tree, or really a piece of paper, the more I relax here as the I am, the more naturally I will meet the I am in the other form. And what will happen is kind of like what we call in Tantra, like a third energy. That's the energy of the relationship, which is the I am also. And it's kind of like a whole other ocean of being opens up, which is deeply unknown and fueled by love and the I am. So during this year of healing, because it was kind of interesting in the hospital, when I came home, then immediately in a few days, I had to go for a checkup. In the beginning, I had to go every week for a checkup, blood test, and they checked the body and everything. I don't remember what I want to say. Oh yeah, so every time I went for a checkup, and I could see on a weekly basis, it's nice to go to the same place, even though I don't particularly like the hospital as the same place to go to over and over. The beauty of it is to go to the same place. It's kind of easy to recognize what has changed. And I noticed every next time I went, how naturally my body was just a little bit stronger. And just could do a little bit more, because the first time I went, I barely could walk, and I just laid down in the waiting room till it was my turn to meet with the doctor. And also in that, seeing that the body is so empowered by presence to come to healing. Body is always wanting to come to wholeness. And I can see step by step over this year, the body, every moment, it wants to come to wholeness. It wants to come to more strength. It wants to really drink in the goodness of food, the nourishment. Also the nourishment, the deepest nourishment is of the I am, of the presence of our being. It just drinks it and drinks it and drinks it and uses it as much as it can. It's able to bring wholeness. And what I find, I must say, very quite remarkable is that, well, first of all, having a kidney, well, having 2 kidneys taken out, and then on top of that, having a kidney of somebody else put in me. But then also, in a funny way, that feels kind of natural, even though that's officially not natural, but in a funny way, it feels very natural to have this other kidney in me. I call it a she. It's kind of like a little angel in my body. They put it right by the right hip. And I feel she is like part of me instantaneously. Even during the surgery, I could feel already that this is a done deal. We're all one here. And but what I found even more remarkable, because I'm a person that in rare occasion takes Western medication. The last, since I left my parents' home in my teens, I just didn't take any medication, Western medication. Only if I would take anything was alternative herbs and things like that, or the medication of meditation, and to really allow the presence of being take care of the body. But then, and of course, when I was on dialysis, I took some medication, but that's, a fifth, no, I would say a tenth of what they wanted me to take. Most of it I refused. And with the immune suppressant pills, I take that, of course. And but it was fascinating. The first 3 days that I was in the hospital, I lived on water and pills, literally water and pills. I was not allowed to have solid food, just water and pills. And that for me was the most remarkable experience, to have twice a day, I would say a dose of about 17 pills. I was just almost funny. I mean, it's not funny, but for me, it was incredible. I had like, well, if this body, my body, can handle these amount of pills, I'm fine. And I could also see that the more I believe, in a pill's good or this is bad, whatever we believe, that's what we get, that's what we experience. And I could see also, as soon as possible, I quit most of the pills that I thought were not important. And I told them, and they were a little surprised, but that's what I did, except with the immune suppressant pills. I still tell them what I want and need and how I would like to do it. And then we go in conversation about it or not. But I could feel how, like a dose of that, or still now when I take them and it's way less, every time I can feel the way I take them affects the body. So if I take them like, oh, here are these shit pills, and then my body receives them as shit. When I take them as wholeness, my body takes them as wholeness. But no matter what way I take them, the body, I can just feel it in my body. The body just does everything to bring it to wholeness, to bring wholeness. And I find that so magical, but truly, it's natural. So it's even the total inclusiveness with the pills. So nothing is left out for me in my experience. Even if I would want to exclude something, it's pointless. It kind of hurts. It's like everything is here. So it's included. It's part of the journey. And the more I include, there's just less struggle. There's just no struggle. Even if struggle happens, there's no struggle with struggle. There's just the relaxing deeper into the I am. And the more I relax deeper in, the easier it is to attend to whatever is needed because there's an openness to receive. You know, same as when I guided you into meditation, the more we open to receive, the more, it's kind of the more we can be touched, pierced by life. And then life can do its thing because life brings everything naturally to wholeness. Look at nature. Everything, we have the cycles of spring, summer, autumn, and winter. And then again, spring. It just is always, it's bringing to life and really living it, dying, and then going into the underworld and coming out into a new cycle of life. And that's what I feel challenges are. They give us an opportunity to come into new cycles of life, new, deeper cycles of life, new, more alive and more awake cycles of life. So that more and more we can see we're not our thoughts, we're not our feelings. They come, they happen. We're not our emotions. They come and they happen. We don't have to shove them out. They're part of life. But even in the midst of emotions, the more they are received, more there is a joy in the midst of it, of what we truly are. So in a way, you can say all the phenomena are still being experienced, but the underlying I am is here. And that's where we truly are. Yeah. So that, in my experience, is what this experience of going through surgery and the whole aftermath has given me and still gives me, is this deep knowing of the I am, what I am. In a way, not seeing the challenge as a challenge, but even deeper to see it as an opportunity. Yeah? To have it as an opportunity of like, this is what is right now. And it can be with simple things, like, for instance, the last few weeks I had a lot of things going on with taxes and with PayPal and with my what do you call that, accountant person that was helping me. And yeah, I can think, oh shit, I have to do all of that and it's such a hassle. But I can also take it as an opportunity. Okay, well, this needs to happen in this world. That's how it goes. I just take one step at a time. And then when I take one step at a time, everything works out. Everything starts flowing. Because there's no fight anymore with what is. It's not supposed to be any way different. So then all the movement comes from relaxation. And it's kind of helping you to slow down. And probably some of you have heard of Mercury going retrograde, and perhaps we're still in it or not. But Mercury retrograde is also a really, really beautiful opportunity because it slows everything down. During that time, there tends to be the most challenges with computers, with technical devices, people misunderstanding each other. And we can go into the misunderstanding and get more and more triggered back and forth. But we can also take that time as an opportunity, like, oh, wow, let's take my hands off. Let's slow down here for a moment. Let's relax inside here instead of getting more upset, like, oh, I need to do some, oh, gee. It's just, no, can this be here too? Can this be here too? Can I just slow down a little bit and relax? I don't need to send this email today. It can happen tomorrow or the day after. The more we send an email back from this place of presence, from what we truly are, instead of reaction, the more we send it as the I am, the more we will get a response instead of a reaction. So again, it's including the experience and really taking it on, being touched by it, and then moving from this movement as I am, as presence, as her, capital H, in my experience. So no matter how challenging life is, it always wants us to bring home. And perhaps in some cases, it's easier for me to speak about it in this way because, where I live, and I happen to be having a white skin, and I happen to live in a place where I have a home, and I have food, and I have clothes, and I happen to have a car and a bicycle. So I happen to be awake. I have a quite privileged life, quite, actually, we're all here together. We have a very privileged life. Otherwise, we couldn't even come together here and take time to sit in and as our true nature. So we have quite fortunate lives that we can live, even if we're disabled. Yes, being disabled is very challenging. And when we have the space to really relax into ourselves, it's very different than when we're really, really tortured, or in war zones, or some people that live in circumstances. I don't even know how they do it. I don't know what that's like because I don't have that experience. I have no clue. I can give my ideas, relax in the I am. Well, that's easier said than done. Or really attend to what needs to be attended to. And I do know people that lived in those zones, and also it brought them in a you could say by grace to their knees in a way that they were so humbled, so deeply humbled, and came in touch with who they are. But it doesn't mean that happens for everyone. There's still a lot of suffering out there, a lot of suffering. So in a way, the more deeply we rest as the I am, we have the time that we can take to practice that. The more we deepen in that, the more we help all beings everywhere, all the beings that are suffering with our wakefulness. So it's not all for ourselves, even though in the beginning it feels all for ourselves. It's wonderful to be awake for me, and it's wonderful to live for me awake. Yeah, it's super. We all do that. Till it just starts overflowing. We cannot but give to all around us, but also naturally sitting in and as meditation. We touch all beings everywhere. It does serve the whole. Yeah. Even if it's a little, how do you say that? Prick of a pin. It's just does touch. Please don't forget that. It's not for us only. It's for the whole. It's for all what we're doing. Even though waking up, or the longing for freedom, or the longing for enlightenment, or whatever your experience is, just know that along the way you touch all beings. All beings. So in that way, there's also total inclusiveness of all beings that are here. And my friend is just coming home. So all beings coming here and all beings being touched. Okay. I think that's what I want to say for now. So if you have any questions or anything you want to share, please, I don't know how again you have to raise your hand, but I think Manila, she explained it. So it would be lovely to hear from you.
So for those who missed the instructions at the beginning, to raise your hand, you press the participants icon at the bottom of the screen. A little box will show up, and then just click on raise hand. And if you're on the phone, you can raise your hand by pressing *9.
Marlies?
Yes.
Oh, hi.
Hi, Michael.
So I guess what I'm pondering about is that I really get why in a lot of meditation centers, a lot of the work is just very simple and physical. And so much of my work and so much of my energy that goes into my work is thinking and cerebral and technical and learning and verbal. And I do get lost in it, and I do feel like it's part of my path, but I don't go in my work and as I'm working fall into presence all the time. It's just like, well, what's, gee, how do I do this on the computer or whatever? So that's kind of where I am.
Yes. Well, that's a great question, because what happens when we're in meditation, then the presence of our being is totally in the forefront, right? That's all there is, unless, there's some thoughts happening and stuff, and we're doing inquiry, etc. But everything is geared to rest as the I am, use the I am to inquire into, etc., etc. So when you work, what is really nice to do is just before you start, to really start from a relaxed place. And then from there start working. And then of course you get lost in your work. That's just part of what needs to happen. But the thing is, even though the thinking mind or the thinking brain or the discernment that needs to happen in that moment and the perception that needs to happen in the moment, that's what's then in the forefront. But still, always in the background is the presence of your being. It's never gone, because it cannot be gone. Because when you look up from your screen, or even when you're at your screen typing, and you take a moment like, awareness is right there, still looking out of your eyes to the screen. So it's like So you can then play with bringing that for a moment to the forefront. And then when you need to do your work, then your work is in the forefront. Yeah. But still, it's all, how do you say that, infused by the silence of your being. See if that's true in your experience when I say that.
It is when I'm working from the silence of my being. And it's less infused when I'm working from obsessional, neurotic, goal-directed fear and ambition.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. And there's nothing wrong with that. Yeah. So when you catch yourself to be in that neurotic, obsessed space, what I'm sure everybody knows about, we all have that to some extent, then when you take a breath, you're right here again. Yeah. And that's the practice then. So it's important not to see it as wrong. It's important to not see it as wrong. It's just what is here. Yeah. And because often easily there can come a quality of separation when we think, oh, I'm not supposed to be neurotic. You know, we're all neurotic. I'm not supposed to be obsessed about it. But obsession is here. But if you get obsessed about the obsession, yeah, then you kind of get lost. Yeah. So it's and if you want to kind of change that in a way, is to even put a little note on your computer or put a picture of something or someone that helps you to remind the silence of your being. So then you can drop immediately in and then you continue again. And then over time you will notice it gets more and more infused also with the silence of being. Does that make sense?
Totally.
So in a way, you can take everything as practice. It's just important that you don't make it wrong. Like, oh, now I'm this obsessed person working on the computer and, you know, I'm totally lost and the I am is gone. No, it's not gone because it's just a thought. And when you believe that thought, yes, then it's gone. But truly, when you take just a second to look, it's like, no, it's all here. It's all, presence is still here, still. It's looking out of your eyes. It's making you move on the keys of your keyboard. It's all here. It's all, that's what's making you move. That's what making you take care that you do your job and earn some money. Yeah. So that is the total inclusion of what I was talking about. So see if that resonates. So don't believe what I'm saying. Just really see what happens inside when you hear this.
It resonates. And I think what I'm kind of experimenting with at this point in my life is the feeling that, you know, for a long time I carried the idea, well, you know, if I really wanted to deeply practice spirituality, I would have to quit all this idea stuff, quit all this reading and writing and thinking and everything, computerizing, and, you know, bust dishes in a restaurant for a living, and then, you know, just live in thoughtless silence. But I'm kind of coming more up on the idea that there could be a thinking mind component to this spiritual path.
Mm-hmm. Well, there is.
Well, it's news to me.
Yeah, because often mostly it's thought that there's something wrong with the thought, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And there's different kinds of thoughts. You have the, I call it circling thoughts. They repeat themselves over and over. I'm not okay. I'm wrong. I'm wrong. I'm wrong. I'm wrong. I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough. You know, we all have our circle of thoughts that we believe. When we don't believe this, it just poofs away.
Yeah.
And then we have the thoughts. You know, when we concentrate on something, we need to use our minds to really explore and see. And, you know, we need that. And then we have the thoughts, you could say, that come straight from her or that or God or whatever. They just come, and it's kind of this God's still silent voice that you can see that as a thought that just comes and goes. You don't have to believe it or whatever. It's just here. So there are different qualities of thought, and you can feel if there's a stickiness to them or not. They have all different qualities. Thoughts are here. Yeah. It's just, do we believe them or not? Or do we take them as a guidance or not? You know, they're different qualities. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Explore that. But yeah, you're welcome. Explore that, because thinking in spiritual circles is seen as something wrong or bad. It's not wrong. It's not bad. I mean, it's here. Right? And also, when you really see, for instance, in monasteries or like Tibetan Buddhist monasteries, they have how do you call that? They have meetings with each other where they really bounce off ideas with each other. They have deep discussions. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so presence is formed in a thought, you know? Presence has, you know, this ground has infinite possibilities how it wants to express itself. Thoughts is part of that. Feelings is part of that. It comes all forth out of that. Because say you would go and work in a restaurant and just be a buzzer or whatever you call that, then there will be other thoughts. You will be having tons of thoughts then. I don't want to do this. I don't like this. I'd rather sit in front of my computer and do my thing, you know? Yeah.
Totally.
Yes. So play with that while you're working on the computer to relax inside and notice when it comes from tension. And even then, there's nothing wrong with tension. It's just a thought about the tension that it's not okay. That doesn't really serve very much. Yeah?
Let tension be tension.
Exactly. Yeah. Okay, great. Great to see you.
Thank you, Marlies.
Yes, you're welcome.
There's a hand raised from someone on the phone.
Okay.
Phone number ending in 134.
Hello?
Hello? Who's
Can you
this?
hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
I'm Karen.
Hi, Karen.
Hi. I'm nervous. First, I wanted to just thank you for everything you talked about. I was so moved by that, and it was extremely helpful. Yeah, it was very moving. I have a extremely nervous and I'm an extremely sensitive nervous system. So some of the things I could resonate with that you were talking about. And one of the things I'm sensitive to, well, some of them, is noise, which is a constant problem where I live, and medicines. So my blood pressure has been skyrocketing lately, and it will go spike real high to dangerous levels, or that's what they tell me.
Yes.
Under stressful conditions. So it's been really high lately because of the noise and problems around that. And my thoughts are, I go around and around. It's like I think I make it worse because I think I'm going to have a stroke. And then I keep wondering, well, maybe I should take the things that they want me to take, knowing how hard it is on, my body and mind. So it was helpful to hear what you were talking about. So how do I get out of that spiral? Is it just being with all the stress and tension and the effects on my nervous system, which are many?
Yeah. Well, it is scary.
Yeah, I'm constantly afraid.
Yes, yes. So, Karen, just for a moment, can be scared for a moment. Just see what it's like when scared can be scared for a moment. Well, what happens when you do that?
There's some compassion that comes.
Yeah. So feel that. Just feel that compassion and feel how something softens a little bit.
Yeah, that's what it did. Yeah.
Yeah. So stay with that for a moment, like how there's some compassion, it softens. Feel the breath. It's softening still, huh?
The sadness.
Yeah. So can this yeah. So can the sadness be here too? No, just sad wants to be sad. It feels almost a regret also, eh? Is that true?
Say that again?
It feels almost there is a regret. I don't know if that's true, but that's kind of what I sense.
I'm not sure about that word.
Okay.
But there's
Then
a sense of just that I can't, the sadness seemed to come from the lack of control and not being able to do anything about anything.
Right. Yeah. So I have that here too. How there's a lack of control. Don't know what to do.
Yeah.
Don't know really what's going on.
Yeah, big time. Yeah.
Right. And of course to the system that's very scary.
Yeah.
And then you're kind of almost, I don't know how to say it in English, like you're kind of delivered to a system, a medical system, and you kind of lose yourself a little bit, or, you know, there's nowhere to land then.
Right. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
And I get into a conflict over, do I trust myself in what I know is good or not good for me, or do I trust all these doctors?
Yes.
Which I learned not to, because that's how I got like this, was trusting them.
Yeah. Well, and that's the invitation for you, to learn to trust.
To trust what?
Well,
trust.
I said on purpose trust, because then it's not so much trusting the doctor or trusting yourself, is can you really trust what truly wants to happen? And can you trust, because I get a sense there's a doubt in you, like, can I actually really trust myself?
Yeah.
And I can tell you, Karen, you can trust yourself.
You mean my knowing with a capital
Your
K?
knowing and your own intuition.
Okay.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Can I just add something on the side?
Oh, you can say whatever you need to say. Yes. Yeah.
How this happened, how I got like this, was from a prescription medicine. And I knew back then, that was over 30 years ago, my intuition said,
Yes.
no, don't take that.
Yes.
And I did. And it's just been one challenge after another. It's been really horrible.
Yes.
So, yeah, I'm constantly having to remember that and to try to trust myself. That's hard.
Yes. Yes. It's hard, and it's also very simple.
Yeah.
Because it's clearly, you know, instantaneously what's right. And just daring to follow that.
Okay.
Yeah, because as you said, you knew 20 or 30 years ago, you knew.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's always possible. It's always possible to change and to come back to that original knowing.
Yeah.
And work your way back. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's good to have help of somebody that's at your side as you want him or her to be at your side.
I do have one person that supports me. That is a doctor, actually. Yeah.
Okay, good. Yeah.
That understands.
Yes. That's very important.
Yeah.
So see it as an incredible opportunity to find your way. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it can only look one way. That can only look Karen's way.
Okay.
Yeah.
And when all these
And that,
feelings, fear and stuff come up, I just do what you were talking about and
yeah,
see what's here.
just, yeah, invite them in because they're here. Of course, fear comes up. Of course. You're human.
Okay.
There's fear. But also trust will come up, and happiness will come up, and sadness. It will all come up. Invite it all in on the table, at the table.
Okay.
Yeah? welcome it in, because the more you welcome it in, the more you can relax and really hear from within what wants to happen for you. Because really, truly, nobody can tell you. People can offer you suggestions. But when you know in your heart it's right, it's on. Even if you don't understand it yourself, how you got to know that. Yeah?
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. Like a resonance.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah, because then you're stepping out any system. You step out of your own fear system. You step out of any medical system. You just step out of any system into the true nature of who you are and how that moves as you. It takes tremendous courage.
Yeah.
And it takes courage. And courage comes from le cœur, which is the heart. It comes straight from the heart. So that's in a way your practice.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can feel
That
it in my
resonates
heart.
all. Huh? Yes, good.
Yeah.
That resonates all. Yeah, good. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Yes, you're welcome. Because this is all steps to wholeness. Yeah.
Yeah. Can I? And it's when you say that, this is all steps to wholeness. So even if something happens to this body, because if I had a stroke or something, it's just okay, right? With presence, it's just
It's okay. It's not comfortable.
no.
It's okay. It's what is then in that moment.
Okay.
But just notice it's also fear, and also notice in the system, in the medical system, they have a certain way of looking at things. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's a way of looking. And then there are other people that look in other ways, have different perceptions, and find your truth.
Okay. I understand that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, and this is a tricky thing to say for me in my position. So I'm going to say something, but don't believe it.
Okay.
And find out for yourself. Okay. Find if this is true for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And only if it's true for you, you follow that.
Okay.
And what I want to say is there's so many alternative ways of healing through food and herbs and your own beingness that I know almost anybody can get off any kind of medication. And it doesn't need to be a hard road. Yeah.
Oh, I'm not on anything anymore.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
I
good.
won't. That's
Yeah.
why I'm having trouble with doctors, because they keep wanting me to take things and I refuse.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So then really sense into your body what your body needs. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it needs something, because something is out of balance.
Okay.
Yeah. So that can be certain food, it can be going out for a walk, it can be certain herb. I don't know.
Yeah.
But really relax into that and see what life shows you that is the next step.
Okay.
Yeah?
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, because one thing, what is good, in a way it's good to relax into being, but in a way to calm the mind, it's also good to know how it is that there is high blood pressure, what truly is the cause of the cause of the cause, that's there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that also helps to calm the mind. And if you're
okay.
to know truly what's going on in the body.
Yeah.
And if there's a way you're so free of that and you can completely rest in an SDIM, then it's not always necessary to know the cause. Then the resting can be the healer. But again, don't believe me. Find out in your own experience. This is your journey to come to a deeper trust what's true for you.
Okay. Oh, okay. All right.
Yes?
Yeah, I won't believe you.
Okay. Good.
All right. Thank you
Okay,
very
well,
much. I appreciate
yeah,
it.
you're welcome.
Take
Wonderful
care.
to hear you, Karen.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Bye-bye.
Bye. Are there any more questions or sharing? Would be lovely to hear from you. You know, talking about total inclusiveness, I have found it's just very helpful to receive all the information. You know, doctors say certain things, friends say certain things, alternative doctors say certain things, nature shows certain things, to include it all, to hear it, and then to really know inside what truly wants to happen here, what is right to the situation. And then, in my experience, it always comes clear from within what wants to happen. No matter what anybody tells me, I know something comes from here. And that's spoken then. So I can give an example from my situation, and that is, so I have to take these immune suppressant pills, and they tell me to take certain pills, a certain amount. So I go there, and I know it needs to be, for instance, they say from certain pills I need to take 8, and I said, no, it needs to be 7. And they say, no, you're wrong, it needs to be 8. And I said, no, you're wrong. No, I don't even say you're wrong. I just say, I know it needs to be 7. Well, how do you know? I just know. Yeah, well, how do you know? I said, I just feel it. I just know it. Intuition, I just know it needs to be 7. And they say, no, absolutely not. That's dangerous, this, that, and the other. And so far, they have always come back a week, 2 weeks, sometimes 3 weeks later, like, oh yeah, you're right, you can actually take 7. And so I give that as example that really deep in our hearts, we all know, whatever the situation is, if it's with doctors, if it's in your work, if it's with your colleagues, if it is with your children, your husband, your wife, wherever, when we really go in, we always get an answer. It doesn't always look as we think it's supposed to look and feel and taste, etc. But we know. And if we don't know, we stay in the unknown till it's being revealed. And it takes tremendous courage because it doesn't go at our pace, in our time. It just goes, it moves when life moves. Yeah? So it goes in her time. And the moment you're completely into her arms, or whatever it is for you, if the word is God, into his arms, or whatever it is, into Source arms, when you completely surrendered in that, it's like constantly you get guidance. Constantly the body moves. You don't even need to have a thought. Like last night it's just a simple thing, okay? Last night I was just steaming an artichoke. I totally forgot about the artichoke. But for some reason, my body went, and walked to the kitchen. I was just 2. I'm walking to the kitchen. And then I thought, oh yeah, the artichoke on, and I kind of looked, and it was just starting to burn the pot. So that's what I'm talking about. The body knows. We know. Yeah. We know when somebody tells us you need to do A, you can feel like, the body says, no, I need to do B, actually, not A. We know. The body, her silent voice is constantly showing us. Yeah. And that's the beauty of when the deeper we rest as the I am, the more can be revealed, the less, how do you call that? Static, I think you call it, the less static there is. Okay. Anybody else that wants to share or ask a question or anything? And just know we're on this field of presence together here. Oops. Atreya? Yeah. You can...
Yeah. Do I have to
yes.
press the key? Can you hear me?
No, you're fine. Yeah.
Okay.
I can hear you.
My first time to do this, so hi everyone. Thank you,
Hi.
Marie, for sharing the story. Thank you. Yeah, there's I find like some of my new friends that I've been hanging around with over the past year, I feel conflicted. I feel like I'm going into judgment because their value systems are different than me. And at the beginning, I'd pull away, I'd separate and go, oh my God, that's not what I want to do. That's not. And then I come into this place of absolute, we're all one, we, love one another. Then I feel guilty. I go into this guilt. And it's not that I feel I'm better than them. It's just they were explaining something when they went to Mother Amma, and I was really shocked their behavior. And I just felt, and then I pulled back again. And so I don't know, how do you resolve this? I just don't like the judging. I don't like the pulling back.
Yes.
There was all this stuff going on. And every time I come to peace with everything, I'm invited over, and there's other news
Yes.
that I don't like. Right?
Yes.
So I'm like, oh God, I don't like it. This is not, I don't like this. So how do I come to terms with this? I mean, if I'll go around the whole world, I mean, everybody's going to like, my daughter said to me, Mom, you're probably 1% of the population. Why, you can't, my mom says you're going to like you're wearing Jesus sandals. You know what I mean? It's like, their opinion is it's hard to live up to that on some level,
Yes.
To the way,
yes.
To the way I'm seeing things, or I live my life. I make loads of mistakes. Don't get me wrong along the way.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how to come to some peace?
Well, so you don't want a judgment, but the truth is there is judgment.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's number one, to acknowledge that, oh wow, judging is happening. Judging is happening. It's here.
Yeah.
So see what it's like when judgment can be here. You don't even need to say, I am judging. It's just judgment is here.
Yeah.
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 Annoyance is here. So see what it's like to have that here.
Yeah, there's a space. none of my business, in a sense.
Yeah.
I don't have to, that space, it's just, I don't have to act to somebody's conscience or. Yeah.
Yeah. So just see that immediately something calms.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. When you see there's just judgment here, something calms and there's more space.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So relax into that space and just feel that quality of, oh, something is like, letting go a little bit. Yeah. Even though perhaps there's still judgment, but something is relaxing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
What is that like?
Yeah, it's just the comings and goings of moment to moment, and not attaching or running away or being repulsed, or just being.
Exactly. Just being. And from the place of being, when you rest as being, does being have a trouble with the other people and their experiences?
No.
No.
No. No. But
Yeah.
I mean, is there such a thing as negative energy, or like, you know, like the light, the dark, you know, like, is that's just the play of the relative, or, you know, like, could you walk into a room full of people and, you know, the energy is fragmented, or it's whatever it is. I mean, is that possible, and that could affect you, or even though you're in your being, the being is there?
Of
So, or,
course. It
yeah.
doesn't mean you never get affected. You're still in a human body. But the more you rest as the I am, as being,
Yes.
the less you get affected. Or
Yes.
let me say it, you still get affected, still get touched, but it doesn't stick.
Yes. That's what's happening.
Or, yes, exactly. Or you get so totally touched that it does affect you, but it is not a problem, that's what's happening.
Yeah.
Because in this world of duality, there are always positive and negative energies. In some cases, you have no choice, you know, you're dealing with it. In some cases, you can just choose, oh, I don't want to be here. Bye. See you later. Yeah. But sometimes you're in that place where there are positive, negative energies, or only negative. That's just what is. Same as judgment. Judgment is judgment. Negative energy is negative energy. Positive is positive. It's just what is. But the more you're home in yourself, the more you can be whoever you are and respond to the situation instead of reacting and judging. But it's important to stay home, because the more you're home, the less reaction there comes. Like, oh, there they are again. Or the next time you choose, I don't really want to go to my friends. It's not even interesting anymore to hear a story.
Yeah, that's where I think that's.
Or you're there and they're sharing the story, and something is spoken from you, from your true nature, right? You don't even know what. And that can change the whole situation. But you cannot think that into existence. It either happens or it doesn't. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I thank you. It's sitting in the seat. I'm more there. More, it's already kind of happening. It's just kind of like sweeping the floor with you a little bit on that. Just kind of.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's for you an opportunity to realize that there's freedom, that there can be freedom from judging. you know, for you to see like, oh, here's my friend, my judging friend. Hello, thanks for your judgment. Judgment can be just here. And the moment it can be just here, you can be home. And judgment can just judge away, do its thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nice relief for change.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Okay.
Well, thank you. Thank you. I just wanted a little, just to kind of little sweep up. It was already happening, sitting in my seat, just there.
Yeah.
It was just sweeping the floor, and it's the end of it, the crumbs of that.
Good. Great.
Yeah. Well,
great. Now you can put those in the trash too. Okay. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank
Great
you.
to see you.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye. Yeah. So in a way you can say life is really very simple. But because of our minds and because of our upbringings and conditioning and the whole thing, it gets a little complex. Yeah. But truly, it's very simple. It's just what's right in front of our nose. That's what we attend to. It's the utmost welcoming of all there is and relaxing home. And what is the simplest is in a way the hardest because we so easily overlook it. It's here all the time. And we overlook it most of the time. It's amazing. Yeah, because we would rather be in our iPhones because we're busy then, or in our computers, or do something, or go somewhere. And again, there's nothing wrong with that. It just so easily we overlook the most obvious. And that's what's looking out of our eyes. It's this love that we are, this presence that's incredibly bright and clear, and so deeply loving. Natural compassion flows out from that. It's here all the time. And that's what we're all doing, sweeping the floor, as Atreya says. We're sweeping the floor till there's nothing to sweep anymore. Because we know all there is that emptiness. It's empty of thought, feeling, sensation, the whole stuff, but it's filled with love and beauty and suchness. Yeah. I think we have a little bit time for one more sharing or question. Mm-hmm. Louise, you want to say something? Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Hi. Good to see you.
Good to see you too. I think we talked.
Did you have a good retreat? You had a retreat, right? Yeah, because yeah.
I think we spoke right before that retreat.
Exactly. Yeah.
That one was it was my third retreat with Adya, and was very, very challenging, very difficult in many ways. But throughout all of it, I was like, I'm staying with this. This is actually kind of what I felt I needed.
Good.
It was felt very earthy. It felt like I was being plunged into just all of my human material, Yeah. So I've been processing that since. Well, feel like it's always been going on, but it kind of went to a new depth.
Yes. Good. That's how it goes.
Yeah. So I had been planning to go to the Christmas intensive yesterday as well, but I did the same thing that you did. I stayed home.
Oh, good.
I was like, I'm grumpy. I'm tired, I'm exhausted, I'm fried. You know, I'm processing a lot, and I ended up just staying home and eating some spicy Chinese food and listening to Cuban music.
Good. Very good. Very good.
Yeah.
It's good. It's nourishing.
It is. It is. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of yeah, a lot of there's so much. There's a lot of rage. There's a lot of sadness. There's a lot of there's a lot of stuff that I felt like I'd always felt like was deep down, or maybe was resolved even. That's just like rising up again. And I'm taking it moment by moment.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, what is this? What is this gonna, what is it? What is the, like, I'm exploring it with Stephen, and, you know, it's been interesting to kind of, yesterday I just did a sit where I was like, okay, you know, it can just come, whatever these entities want to say, you know.
Mm-hmm. Family, friends.
It's really myself, you know. Like I was watching this video by Reggie Ray on freeing the prisoners, and he really made it was good to get such a vivid picture, like you know, what is really going on, all the prisoner Louises from like age, you know, 2 to
I don't mean the outer family friends. I mean the inner family friends. It's like your inner family. Yes.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
It's so funny how the topic today is inclusion, because I feel I'm now having to do the work of greater inclusion, you know, seeing like all the subtle ways where I wasn't including, you know, these struggling, you know, struggling versions of my past. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a precious process. I wouldn't, if I may say, I wouldn't call it work. I would call it plurk. It's play and work together. You're plurking, because otherwise it sounds so serious, because it's really an utter welcoming everything home, you know, every entity or prisoner or family member. It's just utmost welcoming into your heart.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think you worked enough.
I feel like maybe the worker version is another coming home.
I think so too. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So. Yeah, I feel like we don't have enough, you know, rituals. there's kind of a lack of, you know.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we need to create our own.
That's true. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, so just feel like something is relaxing inside. Can you feel that? Yeah. I would just stay in that. And then all the entities or prisoners, they will all come home in this relaxation and this softening of the heart.
Yeah, it's like almost immediate.
Yes.
You're really close.
Yes. Touches, huh?
Yeah.
So can you see that that's not work? That's relaxing. It's melting. You don't have to find them. They will come to you to melt into being, because they all want to melt into being. They all want to come home too. You want to come home, they want to come home.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I feel like a barrier I was going up against was I think actually like right between our conversation on the first and then the retreat was my friend who I've been living with. You know, there was a moment
Yes.
where I think after our call, I was just so tired, you know, like it became really obvious. I was like very physically and emotionally zapped. And I was sitting at the table with her, and I was talking about, you know, plans for down the road and, you know, doing some communicating. And and there was a moment where she looked at me and she was like, well, you look so, she's like, you look so frail, you know, but it was, it was actually very triggering because it kind of came from a place of like, I think it's a cultural, I think it's definitely like a cultural thing, you know, in my family, and I'm sure in her family as well. There's just this deep discomfort around emotional display, you know. Like earlier this year I was in Taiwan and I was with my mom, and her best friend, you know, our dog Tora had passed away, and there was no one around her. Like I was the only person there who was like, it's like, cry, you know, take the time to cry, because no one around her. It was sad. Like the vet, the friend who drove her to the vet, my grandmother, my aunt, no one was okay with her, you know, supporting her in that there just isn't a process. It doesn't exist.
Right.
And I touched into that again with my friend, you know. So I touched into this barrier of like, why haven't they come home? You know, and that's part of, because it never was safe. There was never a really safe place.
Exactly. Yeah. And now there is safer and safer.
I guess I just feel sad because it puts a space between me and my friend, you know.
Yes.
Like I just, yeah.
Yeah, it's true. It brings it.
She's suffering from the same thing, you know. She's experiencing the same exact thing on her end.
Yeah.
So.
But you know, also something is changing. Something is changing because tears are coming. Something is changing. So acknowledge that. And it will change more and more the more you stay with it. Because in a deeper way, you see the culture you're coming from. You know, each culture has a certain conditioning. And this is opening up in you. That's beautiful. So give it more and more space so it can open up more and more. And that's the relaxing. The more you relax into the tears and etc., the more they can come and flow. And you can be you.
It feels really good.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
Good. Say your name again.
Louise.
Louise, yes.
Yeah.
Is that your given name when you were born?
I have a lot of names,
Louise.
but Louise is my English name.
Okay. Good. Wonderful to be with you, Louise.
Thank you.
Yes. Great.
Likewise.
Yeah. Okay. Well, it's wonderful to be with you all, and thank you so much for being here. And let's take one short moment to bring our attention to our hearts and open our hearts as wide as we can. Even perhaps they were already open very wide. Open it as wide as you can so that all beings in all worlds may benefit and be touched by us coming together here today. So take a moment to generate that. And let that go. Thank you so much, Manali, to host, and thank you for Open Circles for having me. Oh, I need to stretch my leg here for a moment. And yeah, thank you all for being here. And yeah, goodbye. I don't know if you can unmute all of us, Manali, or you can unmute yourself so we can just say goodbye. Okay. Goodbye, everyone.
Thank you, Marlies.
Take good care.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you so
Bye.
much.
Thank you, Marlies.
Thank you, Marlies. Goodbye.
Yeah.